All right.
All right. Hello again. Wow, what a day. Wonderful interviews today. And I have another amazing, extraordinary person to share with you today. His name is Eli Blyden. You can see right there, and it's the book guy. He is a professional book publisher and inspirational speaker. Welcome, Eli.
Thank you, Paul. I am glad to be here. I really appreciate people like you who are deep and soul oriented, doing business a different way. This is something that I really love. So thank you so very much for you and your crew.
Well, I know we're going to have a good time sharing today because I love the idea of book publishing and everything else. But before we dive into kind of what you do with all of that, I know a lot of people are going to be interested in your expertise and experience in that. But just talk to us about your journey, in life that's led you to where you are today. What's been the inspiration behind
Wow.
Eli Blyden?
So let's see. The inspiration, I believe that comes from that begins that began a long time before Eli Blyden. Of course, with the individuals, my grandmother and grandfather and forefathers of people who had had very little choices, but so much spirit and hope. And so I stand on those shoulders, and that really gives me the inspiration and the when I don't want to get up in the morning, days to get up and go and to be an example of what they wanted, what they had hoped for. And then many centuries down the line, here comes me, and I can always remember that I always had a thirst for knowledge, and I wanted to speak. I wanted to tell people everything that I was learning, but I grew up with a severe stuttering problem that came from a traumatic event, um, and I'm not sure if we have enough time to talk about it right now, but it's in my next book. um, and and so I always kept my head down, reading or drawing or writing because I didn't want to talk. I figured if I don't look up and no one sees me, I'm invisible. No one would talk to me, and I won't have to talk to them. And so that got me into really listening. Just having an ear and listening and reading as well. Uh, yeah.
I'm interested in yeah, I mean that's great. I'm interested in as you look at the people who were the examples for you, what would you say are some of the top qualities that they had that
Hmm.
instilled in you that perseverance to grow and learn?
Top qualities, I would say, uh, the never give up attitude, as well as the we are living a a spiritual experience, sort of like fingers of God. Um, and so they um, always they were always on me. Sit up straight, you know. Um, my mother especially, sit up straight, do this. I remember sweeping the floor one day. I had to be about 5 or 6 or somewhere along there. And I figured I'm a kid and I should be able to sweep the floor how I want to sweep the floor. But when my mother came home from work and she saw what I did, sat me down at the table and said, whatever you do, whether it's sweeping the floor, whether it's picking up trash, or whether it's becoming the president of the United States, I want you to do the best you can do. So get up and sweep that floor again, and make sure you're the best floor sweeper in my book, uh, in my world. And that really stuck. That level of expertise and detail, um, and and it has followed me all the way until now. I mean, um, and while I was sweeping, I didn't really realize, because the kids were grumpy. Oh, sweeping this floor again. I want to go watch cartoons, you know. But I would say that level, the quality of detail, and never giving up.
I mean, what else? What other top qualities are going to be? Doing my best and don't give up. I mean, that's
Right?
pretty
Yeah.
amazing, really. If you could summarize life, on planet Earth, is give it your best shot, take your shot, right?
Yes.
And then never give up. Always take that second shot. That's beautiful. So all of that, how did that inspire you to begin to do the work you do today? What led you to wanting to tell stories, I guess, and help
Yeah.
people with that?
Absolutely. Uh, I would say that goes back to not being able to communicate the way that I wanted to communicate. uh, Having the stuttering issue. Once I got a foothold on how to communicate, and better ways and tools, such as exercise. When I exercise, I don't stutter as much, and I don't think I stutter at all. Um, and so I wanted to help people to speak their truth, you know, and so initially it was from art. So being creative, expressing your inner self, and that led me to going to college to study commercial art and graphic design and such, and fine art. And I worked for a few companies, and I really loved being an artist, in those days. And long story short, I got laid off and fell into a publishing company. And I was the pre-press manager for 4 years. 4 years, and I believe two of those were agonizing because I was not being creative. I wasn't using my superpower. And so I prayed and meditated for 7 days, no food, just water. And I got one word: give. And you can imagine, I'm like, I expected a vision. I expected, something written out on the wall for me or something. I expected a miracle. But it turns out that doing that, uh, and, and of course I submitted, and I said, okay, all right, I'll give. And I gave everything. Um, I gave money. I gave food to the guys on the corner, and uh, uh, and also I gave services. There was one in particular that really clicked it for me. 92-year-old lady, and she got ripped off from a publisher, and I gave a book cover and formatting and everything like that, and she loved it, and the family loved it, and that's all they wanted to do was have this book as a legacy for her family. And she sent the letter back, and it was so heartwarming. But not only that, she sent a check saying, "Hey, I didn't think this book would sell, but it's selling, and here's a check. And I said, this is what I want to do. All of that, that journey of giving and not really, I had a little faith, but not that much faith. But that letter and that check, that was the moment. That was the moment. That was my aha moment. And I said, "This is what I want to do. I want to help people," and in turn, they will help me, and we move along on this green earth and have fun at the same time.
Wow, wow, that's inspirational. It's
Oh,
amazing how life, if we just, like you said, get up and get out of bed, something's going to happen that day, right?
yes,
Is that
bet.
right?
You bet. That's right. Something will happen.
So,
And
yep, go ahead.
no, pardon me.
No, I was just going to say, in your career now of helping people publish, what are some of the keys that even beginning to imagine that I'm going to write a book or publish an article in a magazine or whatever that is, what are some of the keys that help people start to come out?
Wow. The keys, I would say, the first thing that I do when I meet someone, I want to get to know them. I want to know, why did you write this book? What was it that that made you say to yourself, doggone it, it's been 5 years or it's been 20 years or however years, I got to do this, you know? And so, and all of the way down the line, because you would not believe how many people want to give up and set the stage for themselves to give up. But I'm like, no, 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 no. We're gonna do this.
Never
Um,
quit, right?
what's that?
Never quit.
Never quit. That's right. And so remembering, I would say remembering your why. Remembering your why, because when crap hits the fan, um, and life happens, and we tend to forget about our dreams and visions, and we forget about our why. And so constantly having that why do I want to write this book? Okay, to help people, uh, to to communicate with myself first, you know, because I found with my book, I wrote that first for me, and it helped me so much that I wanted everyone to read it. Um, and the, another tool would be focusing on your inner strength, wherever it comes from, whether you believe in this, or really getting to know the inner person, the um, uh, um, uh, who we are as an individual, and then will be more apt to articulate how to connect to our our self worldwide. How should I say this? We are a collective, you know, and so getting to know, why you're here. What is my superpower? Focusing and delving into that will help us to express ourselves even the more better, to connect with people. When we know ourselves and we connect to someone else, it's a magical thing. So I would say those two things: knowing ourselves, getting to know our self, our soul, and remembering the why.
Well, I mean, I mean, again, two key things. I mean, this is simple of, you're creating some simple things here, Eli. I'm really resonating with never quit, do your best, know your why, know yourself. What powerful, simple ways for people to begin to express themselves, right? The thing that stood out to me, if you could speak more to it, is this coming from the strength of who I am. Because that
Yes.
that imparts a real message of hope to people, right? They can
Yes.
see the strength that you built.
Yes. Yes. So can you imagine shy little boy, um, and with a speech impediment, and speaking the back then, was it the Queen's in English, because I came from St. Thomas. My dad was from St. Thomas, my mother's from the States. So now I'm here in Jersey, Asbury Park, New Jersey, and 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 an anomaly, an oddball, And so I everything in me said curl up in a ball and just go through life with your head down, and you're weird, you know. But books have been my life, my life's a saving grace. I mean, reading about people and experiences in other lands, and also in this land, going through the same things, maybe in a different suburb, or in a ghetto, but nonetheless, the same struggles. All of this is the same. It's just a different light. It's just a different land, different atmosphere, but it's really the same. And so recognizing that I'm a part of this huge dynamic earth, which is just a cell in the universe, just one cell. We're all together, you know? And I said, you know what? If I was a cell in my body, I want to be a supercell. I want to be a cell that that does really cool things in the body. I want to be one of those that pass by other cells and say, "Hey, how you doing? Get up! Let's go. Let's do this thing." You know, I want to be a part of that collective that's in empowering, strengthening, and thus giving that power and receiving that power. It's just awesome. I'm not sure if that's what you were looking for, but that's living. Living helps other people to live. Living out helps others, and their living out helps us. Like your living out helps me. I mean, you're asking questions I never thought about, and thank you again, Paul. I mean, this is great.
Well, and that just goes right to what your service is, right? It's helping people actually be that supercell and
Mm,
know that they can do that and have the confidence because how many times do you hear somebody saying, "Yeah, I've always thought about writing my book, but I don't think I have anything to say." Right? I mean, how many, and then you hear them tell their story and you go, "Oh my God,
right?
that needs to be in a book," right?
Yes.
And they just don't even know the value of that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I
It's
know
true.
that
It's true.
I know that that's true for myself. And my mentor said, and maybe you could speak to this too, is getting started,
Yes.
and one of my
Yeah.
mentors said, don't write and self-edit as you go. Just write your experiences. Get your experiences out on paper. You remember
That's
what
right.
happened when you were 10 years old with a baseball bat? Put that on paper,
That's
right?
right.
Is that how
Yeah.
you suggest they do it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I suggest. mm, eh, it may not be appropriate, but I'll say it anyway. Throwing up, just getting it all out, getting all of that crap out. And maybe I could have used a different analogy, but there'll be some things. There'll be some things that you can use for this book. Put it this, put it aside. After you finish throwing, what can I say?
Yeah.
After you finish getting it all out, let's say that, there'll be some things that you can use for this book, and for this book, and for this book. Or if you just want to focus on this book, just leave that stuff over. Don't throw it away. Uh, uh, and 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 take that again. Don't worry about editing. Don't worry about how it sounds. The editor will deal with that. Don't worry about the structure or anything like that, or anything like that. And the but the trick is finding the right editor for the author. That's the trick, because you don't want one to change your story. You want to connect with that editor. Um, Here's another tool that I'll give you is don't worry about how it's going to be published and how it's going to be delivered and everything like that. The universe, God, or whatever you believe, will take care of all of that. But do another tool. Do think about, if you will, the target. Who do I want to reach? You know, what demographic? You know, and you may think about that before you start writing, or during your writing, or after you're writing. Sometimes it really depends on the person. But I always say start with the end in mind. But if you're stuck, don't worry about any of that. Just write, or speaking to your phone, record it. I have my son. He's 24. I have my son. He types out all of my recordings, and he deciphers all of my doctor handwriting. I'm so grateful with him. His name is Joshua, and just however you do it. If you got to talk to someone, if you got to, however you do it, just get it out.
Oh wow. You're giving me goosebumps. I'm getting inspired here,
Thank you.
to continue to follow through on what you're doing. As we wrap up here, Eli, any keys or thoughts about how do you find that right editor? Well,
Yeah.
how do you know that they're the one to begin to pursue things with? Are there clues or signals?
Sure, sure. Well, there are. I would say to take a look at their work. That's one. And if you feel comfortable, offer them maybe a chapter and say, "Hey, I really like what you do," or something like that. And um, um, can you take a look at this? If you have to charge me to edit it, go ahead. But this is what I'm thinking about doing. And remember, I should say, also ask them, what type of editing do you do? Because there are various forms of editing, you know. Um, but really, I would say, go with your gut. Go
Mm.
with your gut, and really connect. Try to connect with the person, because after all, it's just to me, it's just like handing your 4-year-old over to a babysitter or daycare or school. You want to make sure that they're going to take care of it. They're going to care for her or him like you would.
That going with the gut thing, I mean, that's a great one. It's got to feel right, right? It's
Yes,
got to sit. It's got to.
yes, that's right.
If it feels like
That's
a square peg in a round hole, something's off, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Trust the red
Well,
flag.
yeah. Eli, this has just been awesome. This is very inspirational. I know a whole lot of people in our Empowered Soul Network are in the process of writing a book. They're doing their second book. They just got out. I have a very good friend who just became an Amazon #1 bestseller with her book. And
Yeah.
just all these, you can tell that people want to express themselves. And so you give a little bit of hope to that, and so a little bit of direction. I mean, I think that is just awesome. How can people get in touch with you to learn more?
The easiest way to get in contact with me is email, or website. My website is Eli. That's Eli, thebookguy.com. That's Eli, thebookguy.com, or Eli at elithebookguy.com directly.
Is the book guy like on your name there? Does it have the quotes or no quotes?
No, no
No
quotes.
quotes. Okay,
Just
okay, great.
elithebookguy.com.
Gotcha. And please, when we get done with the streaming and after you see it, go in and put that in the commentary underneath the video. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Listen, Eli, wonderful. I'm so glad we had a chance to connect. This is just great. I look forward to connecting with you more. Stick around for just a minute after we get done with the recording and the streaming, and we'll just chat a little bit more about the interview.
Sounds
Th-
good. So like,
thanks for coming. Talk to
thank you, Paul.
everybody soon.
Bye, guys, ladies.